And so I want to give you very quickly some ways to plant yourself in a community. Okay, so it spells plant. Prioritize participation. I know we are busy. I'm busy. Half of the time, I don't want to come to whatever other activity somebody puts on my calendar. Like, thank you for that, but please don't schedule another meeting that I have to go to. And invite me to it, Brian. That's kind of how it works around here. I get lots of invitations, and they're not the kind that you really want. But you have to prioritize your participation if you're ever going to plant yourself anywhere. Like, just think about that. Like, that's kind of my advice to my kids whenever they go off on the first day of school. If you actually want to be a part of something, then guess what? It has to be a priority. Your participation in that club, your participation in band, your participation in a team, it has to be a priority or else it doesn't happen. Like, I do not like to wake up, and I hope Steve's not in here, I don't know. I don't like to wake up on a Saturday morning and go to a men's breakfast. But you know what I do like? I do like to be part of that community of guys who can help me and sharpen me. And so guess what? The alarm gets set on a Saturday morning. Like when my kids say, oh, well, but I just don't know so-and-so at school, or I don't know anybody in that class, or I don't have any friends in that class. I have to say, well, guess what? You're there. You have to know somebody. You don't have an option. What are you going to do? Sit for a whole semester by yourself and complain to me every night about it? I think that's happened to somebody before. But like, guess what? Prioritize the participation. Well, I don't know anybody at the men's group. Well, you know how you get to know people? Not by staying in bed on a Saturday morning. And I'm not coming down on anybody who didn't show up yesterday. It was great. We had sausage. We had eggs. We had fellowship. We talked about all kinds of stuff. And so if Steve is in here, thank you, Steve, for pulling that off, despite all the obstacles. But you got to prioritize. So that's the P. Prioritize your participation. The second one is L, is let others into your life. I don't like this one either. I just don't. Some of y'all have come to our house on a Friday night during the summer. We put out on Facebook, hey, we're having Friday night dinners. We like that. Grill out on Fridays. Anybody who wants to come can come, blah, blah, blah. Just let us know, right? Sign up, genius. Thank you. And so we signed up, a bunch of people came to our house. And it's really not fun for me to let other people see inside my house because that means I have to clean it up. Right? Or I at least have to give the appearance that it's cleaned up. So most of the time it's like, yeah, we're going to eat down on this level. But when Janelle says, oh, you guys have never been here before. You want to see the whole house. You want to take a tour. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't want people to see the laundry room. Like, please don't open the closet in the bedroom because that's how we cleaned it up. But if you're going to plant yourself somewhere, you've got to let people into your life. If you're going to plant yourself in any community, and we're talking about church, you have to let people in. The third thing is accept accountability. If you're going to be part of a community, guess what? You pull some kind of weight and you have some kind of accountability. If you're going to be part of a soccer team, what do you have to do? Show up. What else do you have to do? Practice. What else do you have to do? Pull your weight. Right? Like, I don't know, man, I'm sorry, Nathan, I keep using you as an example, but we're part of the band now at Oldham County High School. Woo! You know what that means? We get to fundraise. There will be accountability. He comes home with a paper that says, I have to sell this many mums. And I'm like, don't bring them to my house because we'll kill them. But we got to sell mums, and I'm not even plugging this. But But like, the point is, like, if they're going to ask us, they're going to say, did you sell any? Because we're part of that community. Same thing happens at church. We have accountability with each other. How you doing? A simple how you doing is an actual accountability. Hey, I heard that this was happening. Can we talk about it? This is accountability, people. This is what we do in any community that we are part of. And if we're going to plant ourselves, even at Springdale, there will be accountability as far as, guys, will you help me with this? Will you help me with that? Guy, I need this. The fourth one is N, and it has to do with accountability, but it also has to do with nurturing relationships with Jesus. We need to nurture relationships with Jesus, not only our own, but other people. Like, look around. You are actually part of a community that cares about growing in Christ, growing our faith, flourishing. And if you really want the person that's sitting next to you to flourish, then you have to help nurture their relationship with Jesus, or else it's not going to happen. It's not a solo thing. You can't just nurture your own relationship. You're looking at people who are part of the community that you're planting yourself in, and you're trying to nurture other people's relationships with Jesus as well. In Psalm chapter 1, I just quoted it, it says, his delight is in the law of the Lord, talking about the righteous man who is planted by a tree of water. His delight is in the law of the Lord. And so as we are planting ourselves, trying to flourish as a group, as people, as individuals, but also as a church, what are we trying to do? Delight ourselves in the law of the Lord. And the fifth way to plant yourself, we got prioritize participation, let others into your life, accept accountability, nurture relationships with Jesus, and trust in the Lord in the good times and in the bad times. I already told you guys, I'm from Florida. I've lived through some hurricanes. And it's always kind of fun. I know, it's twisted. But it's fun, A, because usually whenever I was a kid, we would get out of school for like a week, because you never know. But it's fun to actually watch the wind come through. And usually I watch this on television. I don't go outside during a hurricane. But if you still have electricity, you watch the wind come through, and you watch the palm trees. Have you ever seen a palm tree bend in half, like break in half? Have you ever seen a palm tree break in half? On television or on the internet? Yeah, probably not, because they don't. Like, if you see a broken palm tree, it's usually not broken in half, like snapped in the middle. It's the whole thing, all of the roots and everything come out of the ground. But a palm tree will bend and bend and bend in a hurricane and doesn't usually break. And I believe that that's what trust in the Lord in the good times and the bad times means. We can, as we are people of God, planted by the river of water, like a palm tree, flourishing like a palm tree, we can bend and bend and bend, always knowing that we can trust in the Lord in the good times and the bad times. And I know that some of us are going through bad times. Some of us have all kinds of crazy things going on. But you can trust in the Lord in those bad times. We got to know that. You have to know that as you plant yourself in this community, that this community exists to point you to Jesus, and this community exists so that even in the bad times, you can trust in God.